Since the New Testament was written many years after Jesus' death, there are certain gaps in the story of his life. The largest of these gaps is called the missing years, the ages between 12 and 30. Of these 18 years, the scriptures tell us almost nothing. But other sources and legends have come to light which seek to fill this gap. The result is a collection of fascinating possibilities. The Aquarian Gospel, written in 1907 and said to be derived from the Akashic records, states that Jesus left Israel at the age of 12. This map shows the route taken by Jesus. The Akashic records say his journey included a visit to Persia, modern-day Iran. According to the Aquarian Gospel, it was here that Jesus stopped to see the three magi who had visited him at his birth. Their meeting was a great holy occasion, and a light brighter than the light of day surrounded the magi. Such an event is called a transfiguration. Another possibility comes from a remarkable discovery made by the Russian explorer Nikolai Notovich at the end of the 19th century. In a Tibetan lamasery, Notovich learned of the visit of the prophet Isa, who taught that all humans are equal before God. These ancient scrolls said that Isa, or the Christ, was a divine child born of poor parents who talked of a one and indivisible God, how he journeyed from Jerusalem and joined a caravan of merchants headed toward India. Here he sought to improve and perfect himself in divine understanding and to study the laws of the prophets. While no tangible evidence exists of Jesus' life to illuminate the missing 18 years, there is one legend which seems anchored in more than just conjecture. And curiously enough, its roots go once again to Joseph of Arimathea. These are the ruins of Glastonbury Abbey in Somerset, England, as they stand today. Centered around this abbey is a widely accepted legend. It is said that the young Jesus had left India and then traveled to Britain with Joseph of Arimathea, who was a merchant seeking tin. At the time, Britain was the major provider of the world's tin. Joseph of Arimathea has been referred to as a decurio, a common Roman term designating an official in charge of metal mines. Medieval sources report that a church was built there under the direction of the young Jesus. A semblance of credibility is given this legend by the fact that here stand the ruins of a church which dates back to about the time of Christ. The Glastonbury legend goes on to say that after Christ's death, Joseph of Arimathea returned to Britain. Among the group that supposedly accompanied him were Lazarus and Mary Magdalene. Tradition tells us that Joseph, weary from his travels, thrust his staff into the ground, and that the staff became part of the earth and in time blossomed. Today, this 2,000-year-old tree stands at Glastonbury, the only thorn tree in the northern hemisphere to bloom at Christmas time. Joseph of Arimathea is said to have been buried on this site, and in 1367, a Lincolnshire monk recorded that the body of Joseph of Arimathea was found at Glastonbury. The crypt and body, reportedly that of Joseph of Arimathea, were rediscovered in 1928, and today reside here in the chapel of St. Catherine's at Glastonbury. In matter of historical fact, the events of the missing years must be largely conjecture. But we can assume that it was during this period that he developed his mental and spiritual powers. The Bible next tells us of Jesus when he goes to visit John the Baptist